Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Art of Kindness, where we have compassionate conversations with artists from all areas of the entertainment industry who are using their voice to spread joy and make this big spinning planet in the universe a better place to be. I'm Robert Peterpaul, and I'm so glad you're here. Hello, friends. Happy New Year. I am so excited to bring you the very first AOK of 2026. And to do so, I needed a special guest for this intro. So I'm not a lonely Muppet. And I thought, who better than the kindest person that I know, Miss Cassie Peterpaul. Hello, Cassie.
Hello.
We have
From the
Cassie
other room.
in the studio, which is the other room because we had to figure out some audio things. And you might hear the cats ripping down the door trying to get to her. Full disclosure.
Right on cue. I just saw a
Really?
paw under the it's honey.
They want to be on the
Door.
mic. So,
Yes,
okay,
totally
we better
normal.
act fast. But Cassie's here today to talk about the amazing guests we have and the initiative that we're going to be focusing on. But before we get to that, I thought while we have you here, because the people always love when you're on the pod, you could share an intention or a resolution or a kindness tip for everybody listening as they enter 2026.
Yes. I have a single tip in the form of 3 tangible acts,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Overachiever. I
Always.
I was thinking about how to give back to others during, the dead of the winter, which it is right now, but really any time of the year.
The
And
cats have moved on to my room. You
couldn't
might have
open
just
mine, so
heard
she went to
the
you.
door burst open. I think we're being attacked from all angles here, but we're not talking about attacks. We're talking about kindness.
Okay.
Okay, so dead of winter, you're being
Yes.
attacked by cats.
Yes,
Set the
and
scene.
really, in whatever time anyone's listening to this podcast, we tend to kind of look around and start getting rid of things around the house, or at least that's what I've been trying to do. So 3 things that could be paid forward or passed along. Towels are great for animal shelters. Towels,
Yes.
blankets, pillows, question mark? I don't probably definitely not,
Everybody
actually.
loves a pillow. Yeah.
That's great. So, I just found some worn towels that I was going to toss, but put it in the donation pile. The second thing is books. Find a little library or an actual library, or community centers often accept book donations. And then the third one is non-perishables. In our state, at least, or maybe it's just our town, we have the Purple Pantry. I don't know how. I was trying to look up where they are, but it seems kind of hyper local. But many places accept non-perishables, especially this time of year. So thinking about those 3 goods that we may have sitting around and knowing exactly where they can go, it can
Yeah.
go a long way.
I think that's beautiful. I think your tip was basically build a little cupboard and put something in it, whether it's books or non-perishables. And actually, we touch on that in today's conversation with our 2 awesome guests. One of them actually sets up something for Amazon delivery people to take waters and snacks. And I won't spoil the amazing story that he tells, but that is something that I think is amazing because it's all free to do what you just said. It's like going around your house, finding things that can be repurposed and reused to create a kinder world. And we're all about kindness is free today because we are discussing the amazing nonprofit organization Kindness is Free, which is a transformative initiative powered by the Boys and Girls Clubs that promotes compassion, respect, empathy, to build a safer, more connected world through small, tangible acts of kindness. So I think you set the scene really nicely by sharing those 3. Well, it was 1, but it had 3 components.
Yeah, 3 little branches. And I am very excited for today because I am sitting with one of the new inductees into the Kindness Hall of Fame
Oh,
through Kindness is Free.
what a thrill. That was such a surprise last year. I would say that was Probably one of the biggest highlights of the year was to get the letter saying they're inducting me into their Kindness Hall of Fame, which is hanging behind me, the certificate right now. You got
Mhm.
to come with me, which was such
Yes.
a gift because, I got to say, okay, this is the kindest person in the world. And it was rubbing off on me. And so then I felt like, okay, like I'm fine being here right now because I'm with the kindest person.
That was an incredible room to sit in.
It
I was
was.
just kind of in awe. I think my jaw was dropped most of the time. Just like people we would talk to, you would, have a friendly, normal conversation, and then all of a sudden you would slowly discover things about what they're doing for the world, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I am not worthy."
Yeah. It
Yeah.
took place at Tournament House in Pasadena, California, which is this beautiful, sprawling estate. You would say estate
For sure.
with the Rose Bowl Legacy Foundation. And so, because of that, they allowed and invited all of their inductees to be on a float in the Rose Bowl parade on New Year's Day,
Crazy.
which was crazy.
Crazy, crazy, craziness.
And I went. It was kind of a last minute trip. So Cassie held down the fort at home with the kiddies. And, they would have apparently broken down the door and tried to get on a plane if she wasn't here with them. So it was probably for the best. But it was just such an incredible experience. And I'm so, so grateful to have connected with the Kindness is Free team and have them kind of be a part of my kindness family
And
now.
another incredible kind of landscape to be in, because there are so many wonderful people being honored at the parade, being celebrated at the parade, but it was downpour and people were
Yeah.
still walking for those 5+ miles, still smiling, still playing in like the bands that performed, and that was unbelievable. It was just like such a sign of resilience.
Yes, well said. I think it's the 11th time in history that it's rained on the Rose Bowl parade. And, we say, don't you dare rain on my parade.
Mm.
But they did. You can't rain on our enthusiasm, though. And we kept that. And I was so lucky to have a great seat partner in Eden. Shout out to Eden and my fellow Hall of Fame inductees and Kindness is Free board members and team members. But you're so right. It's the Boys and Girls Club kids that actually walked the full 5 miles. What you see on TV is maybe 3 minutes of the full route. I feel like I was on that float for at least 3 hours. And those kids walked it the whole time, had the best time, did not complain. They kept it real. They were like, we're wet, we're getting tired, but we're so happy to be here. And it was inspiring to me because I'm sitting up there feeling like, oh, my arm's getting a little tired from waving. But the coolest thing to me that I didn't expect, well, never expected to be on a float, to float into 2026, but I didn't expect that it would be witnessing kindness in real time,
Yeah.
free kindness, because you would look out into the crowd and there's people on rooftops, there's people hanging out of windows, there's stands that people are standing on and cheering for you. And sometimes they would have like something prepared. They would shout something to you collectively and a lot of Happy New Year's. I wasn't prepared for the fact that when you wave at someone, they get so excited to be seen, and then they're so excited, and then they pass it on to their people, and then it comes back to you, and you get like re-energized, even though you've been up there wet. Yeah, so it was like a kindness ripple effect, a kindness wave, and that was really cool and something I will never forget. I'm still processing the whole journey. It was
And
just the best experience ever.
and you had your that trip, and the trip before was bookended verb
Bookended,
by our wonderful kind friend Tessa, who was your chauffeur and fed
for
you
sure.
and cheered you on.
Gotta shout out to Tessa. Yes. Kindness is free, especially with your friends. If you're lucky to have good friends, they will show up and do small acts of kindness for you. Although, honestly, I don't think driving to the airport and picking someone up is a small act of kindness. I think that's a big act of kindness.
Mhm.
And we're incredibly lucky to have Tessa in our lives. And I don't know if I've said it on here before, friends, but she's actually been helping us out with the AOK this season, trying to get different partnerships and collaborations. So we love Tessa.
We love
Thank you,
Tessa.
Tessa. And we also love two other special humans who I don't believe I've even mentioned yet, the co-founders of Kindness is Free, Lori Milgard and JR Dzubak. Okay? Got to give it up for Lori and JR. Lori and JR, they are just the most sparkling powerhouse duo that truly complement each other. They're good friends. You'll hear about their journey in our conversation, how and why they started Kindness is Free. We play fun games because their mission is so centered on empowering youth, although it's for adults too. We kind of take a trip down memory lane and talk about them feeling like kids and embracing their inner child. It was just a really delightful conversation, and I was thrilled to have them. I am honored to be a part of their organization, and I just can't wait for future kindness adventures. So, thank you for being here with me, Cassie, and introducing a nonprofit that now means so much to me.
And me.
Of course. Yeah.
Here's to kindness in 2026.
Here's to kindness in 2026, friends. We will be back soon with a new episode, but for now, please enjoy Lori and JR of Kindness is Free. Don't tell me not to live, just sit and potter.
You're so full of energy, Robert. It's just,
You are. You're perfect for our program.
yeah, you've got this such great energy. It's exactly what Lori and I love.
JR, you know what? You're too kind. I'm going to probably say kind and kindness a lot, everybody, today. And so, take a shot of candy every time I do. That's probably why I'm so hyper, because of the candy. Lori and JR, you both are doing such a kindness for the world, and I appreciate you being here with us today. I'm thrilled we could finally meet in person after falling in love with your mission. First of all, where are you calling in from?
I'm in Calabasas, California.
I hear it's beautiful there.
I'm in Los Angeles in the San Gabriel Valley in a neighborhood called Monterey Park.
Oh, equally beautiful.
It's not really like LA where there's a congestion and chaos. It's a little more peaceful. The freeways aren't, crazy. And so as you get older, it's kind of a nice place to land.
Yeah, I love that too. My wife's goal is to be in a retirement village. She would like to be there now.
I would love to be there too. I've seen those. I've heard about those, but maybe in
Yeah.
Florida or something where there's palm trees and the wind and the ocean breeze and yeah,
and people
I
take
know.
care of each other. And that's what we're
Right.
here to promote today, So before we get into Kindness is Free and talk about your foundation, I would love to set some foundation. There's a pun right there. This is a question I believe that you ask in your Kindness is Free startup kit. What does kindness mean to the both of you? If you want to start, Lori.
Well, I feel like kindness has been, for me in particular, is when I think of others. I think, it's easy to say I'm kind, but, are you really? And you kind of have to do, think about really other people and how they feel. For some reason, and I think social media has played a role in this, but people are pretty self-absorbed and they're very focused on their phones and their technology. And we kind of forget of our surroundings and people. And I think the smallest of gestures, I tell everybody that people say in LA, I'm originally from Seattle, and people say people in LA are not friendly. And I just beg to differ, because every time I am in a grocery store, I purposely will smile at every person that I can get on eye contact with. And I would say 99% of them smile back. People just forget. It's not that they're not nice people. They're just not, they're thinking about other things. And so, it takes energy at times to be kind. So I think if you can think of other people and making a little bit of a difference in their day, that to me is what kindness is all about.
What I love about what you just said is that kindness is a choice, right? And what you all do so beautifully is that you give people tangible, really easy and fun, heart-filling ways to make those choices. And so that's something I appreciate about your mission, is that it is very tangible. And that's what we try to do on here as well. But JR, what would you say your definition of kindness is? What does it mean to you?
It's such a hard question, I think, sometimes,
It
and
is.
sometimes it's easier. I just don't know. But I can tell you, when I think of kindness, what it means to me, it feels to me that when you give kindness, you're feeding someone's soul with energy that just lights them up. It's kind of like the weather. You're either the storm, you're the rain, but kindness just makes you feel so good. It's positive energy, it's compassion, it's your light, it's your
Hmm.
everything. So it feeds my soul is what it means to me. It makes me feel good.
Oh, I love that so much. That's so beautiful. And you know what's interesting? I've asked that question almost, I guess, over 200 times now, considering other interviews, and nobody has the same definition,
Hmm.
which I think presents the challenge in some ways, right? It's like what I think is kind might not be to somebody else. Again, I think kindness is more than the reputation it gets sometimes. It's a bit more complex, and we're definitely going to break that down today. But since your mission is to empower youth for the most part, I wonder, do either of you remember your earliest sort of formative child experience with kindness? Is there something that happened to you early on that you can pinpoint as teaching you the power of kindness?
I don't think I had one thing in particular, although I had a mother who was incredibly kind,
Hmm.
always giving, always doing for others, never, ever wanted anything done for her. And I had an amazing example of kindness. And so I think I had a kindness really in our family home from the beginning.
Hmm.
Things weren't always easy, and there was a lot of rough times, but there was always kindness in our home. So
Hmm.
thanks to a good example by my mom, I felt like we were living it day to day.
Mm. Yeah, that's beautiful. The power of kindness at home. If you're able to come back to that in this crazy world,
Hmm.
it's a gift. What about you, JR? Anything come to mind there?
It's funny because when Lori just was answering, it does. There's no one specific thing, but I would have to say, as she was speaking, it did bring me back to, for my family, it was really my grandmother. Just
Mm.
Mm.
this level of, I guess, feeding the soul, as I mentioned earlier, where as no matter how turbulent things were, or where there could be some times that we're not feeling so great, or even when there was good, she just always kind of had that energy and that positive enthusiasm. And she did it with food, she did it with compliments, she did it with
Mm.
a way of always lifting you up. I just recall a time when I didn't do so well in school, and she just kind of phrased it always in a way of making me feel like it was okay that I failed. And so that behavior is just always sat with me and makes me still to this day feel like kindness is a way of empowering someone to feel good and
Mm.
find find their purpose, or make them feel comfortable, I would say. And so I would have to
Yeah.
say Grandma Zubak.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, shout out. Because we all do have the capacity for kindness. And I think the way you frame it as a tool for people to use is again just so tangible and delightful. And before we dive a bit deeper into your mission here, speaking of childhood, surprise, since your work empowers kids with kindness, I just wanted us to channel that energy for a little bit. I mean, clearly I'm already a child, so I might shoot through the ceiling. I'll try and remain calm, but I'm just going to say a phrase or a question in a little flash round here that I'm calling Feel Like a Kid Again. And you two tell me the first thing that pops into your head. So don't overthink it. It should be fun, and it'll have to do with kids and kindness. Are you
Okay.
ready?
Ready.
Yes.
Okay,
Ready.
here we go. I'll probably insert some cheesy music here. A childhood snack that makes you smile.
Popsicle.
Cheese whiz.
Oh, those are good ones. Maybe not combined, but I like both of them separately. Favorite playground game?
Swings.
Jump rope.
Oh, both flying. I did used to lie on the swing and pretend I was Superman or Peter Pan growing up. I don't know if you did that. That was a good
So
time.
you see how high you could go.
Yes, exactly. My swing set used to sway, which is probably
So
not
did
safe,
ours.
Lori. Yeah, probably not safe. This is not sponsored by Playsets. If kindness had a color, it would be...
Blue.
Blue.
That makes sense, considering the Kindness is Free colors are blue as well. The song of your childhood,
Mm.
one that made you feel good.
Oddly enough, The Sound of Music.
That's a good one. Talk about themes of kindness.
When you just said that, my brain just like fogged, but I came up with Ring Around the Rosie. I don't
Pocket full of posy, JR.
That's a
Ashes,
happy one.
ashes.
know. Kind of Ring Around the Rosie.
I love that. And we all fall down together, but kindness, it'll bring us back up. Your superpower, if you were a kindness hero type, what would it be? What would your superpower be?
A smile.
Magic.
Oh, and a smile, I think, is magic. And you both have such great smiles. Thank you so much for playing this silly little game. I just wanted to warm us up with some childlike fun. Of course, now you're paying it forward again with Kindness is Free, which blossomed in 2020 by the Boys and Girls Clubs of West San Gabriel Valley and Eastside. This podcast also started that year. What you do, of course, it takes an immense amount of energy. And so I kind of wanted to underpin this conversation with that. Why was kindness important for you both to pursue in your life? Why kindness?
Well, for me in particular, I've felt all along that my childhood had a different feeling than I feel like what's going on in the country, in our hometowns. It was very simple, innocent. Doors were unlocked. We didn't have road rage and bullying and suicide. I just have felt that things are so different. I don't know if it's social media, technology, but I felt like I wanted my kids and my grandkids to grow up in a kinder climate. And I knew the person to go to was JR. JR and I are very close friends. And not only did he have the platform, but we're very like-minded. And so we were going on a walk and we talked about this. And, he kind of hesitated for a minute, as I did, because it seems like an odd thing. Like, what do you do with it? And he just ran with it. This program isn't because of me. It's because of JR, for sure, and his team that he has built around him. And, you don't realize how much it's needed until people are just drawn to it. And that kind of told me, wow, this really is needed. And people are really hungry for this. And then the pandemic hit. And it even got bigger because it just felt like it was such a sad time. And so it has surprised us both, for sure.
That's so beautiful. People are craving that kindness, I think, now more than ever. So
very much so.
I'm very grateful for the both of you being here. And JR, she just gave you so much credit, although I know it took the both of you. What was it like for you to then run with this? Why did it resonate with you?
Well, I thank you for that. I thank you for the question because it's actually, it's kind of a powerful question when you start reflecting on it over the years. And Lori describes exactly what it was in the sense that she had mentioned we are very close friends. We see things very similarly, but we were also experiencing what everyone else was experiencing. So our thinking and how we even came up with this concept was, like everything, the world was in turmoil. We both were on lockdown. We were actually breaking rules because we were walking when the county of Los Angeles was saying we couldn't be walking and connecting. And in the spirit of just the way we look at things and see things, she brought up this idea, and we didn't know where it would go or how it would work, but we recognized people needed it more than ever. It was a perfect time to plant the seed, and we had no clue it would turn into the level that it's turned into. But I think the beauty behind it is it's made such impact because it was a small seed that was planted of just a simple walk and talk kind of a concept, and how you can change the world by collaborating, thinking outside the box, bringing like-minded people together. And we both love kids, so there's just no doubt about it. And we both love seeing kids be successful. And so that's a fact. Everything Lori and I have done together is try to make change for particularly kids. And that little kind of seed of making them feel special and make them feel good and giving them that special treat that they might have missed. We made a big difference on that walk. It really did change the world. So I'm grateful.
Well, I'm grateful for that too, and the both of you. And I think it's interesting because walking with people is one of my favorite things to do. And there is research that shows it's actually one of the top acts of kindness you can do for your own well-being is to walk with a friend. And I often say, I wish this podcast could be a walk and talk. I wish we were all walking together virtually right now. The sound would not be great, but it might spark an interesting conversation, which we're having anyway. But one of the things I really resonated with Kindness is Free is one of the first things you have on your website. It's that tangible focus on the small acts of kindness, like going on a walk with a friend, and it's in reach of everybody. This includes your kindness pledge, of course, which I did take, and I encourage everybody out there to take, and I have my card right here. Can you describe how the kindness pledge came to be? Because it feels like that's a great place to start for everybody out there listening.
Yeah. So in the beginning, because again, this was all new to us, we were trying to figure out how do we get kids to stay connected to this.
Mm,
And it became kind of an incentive, like a reward. When we talked a lot about it in the beginning, like, how do you get someone to commit to this program? And I think we talked about in the very beginning, there's this Boy Scout pledge, and you pledge to be a scout, and you pledge to
yes.
be a part of something. And I think we hammered in on, we wanted to make a commitment, and how do you do that? And I think it was the pledge card. Every Boys and Girls Club in the country has a membership card. So we kind of like pulled from that and said we would give everyone a pledge card. And then we had like 10 things that we were coming up with to be on the pledge, but we knew it would be difficult if there was so much of that kind of commitment. And then we narrowed it down to these top 3 items, and we asked people to join us, the effort. And kids love it. So kids started by, it's an easy one for them because they feel like they're being a part of something. And
Yeah.
then we elevated it that you're joining this club and being an ambassador. And so it felt very powerful.
Yeah. And it is powerful. And I will say, everybody listening, there's no tricks. It actually really is simple and easy, which I was excited for it to, I love kindness. So I wasn't, apprehensive at all. But it really is one of those things where you could just take it in a matter of seconds on your website. And I think it's so brilliant, especially because it is starting with the youth. And all of us coming together to help the youth is what's going to build a kinder world, because they're the next generation coming in. And so I'm so grateful for that, and your support, of course, of this podcast this season. And obviously, we're rooted in the arts. And it kind of made me wonder, I know you help kids sort of follow their dreams, even in their passions in different areas. And I just wonder how you see the work you do intersecting with the creative arts, which is a huge scene in California, of course. Do you feel like there's a unique role that artists have in your vision, in your culture? And I mean, we can also include athletes under that bucket, since it's sort of all entertainment and creative. And I know you have that as well. But I was just curious about that.
Well, I think with the Boys and Girls Club, they've done a really good job of having kids express their kindness through art, drawing what they think kindness is. Our mission is to get to as many people, including adults. This isn't just for children. Adults, I think, need it sometimes more than kids, because
For
I think
sure.
kids are all friendly and they're just happy-go-lucky. And I think we have a lot more going on as adults, and so we forget.
Mm.
But I think it's been a great tool at the clubs that they've used the kids coloring and drawing, what that means to them. And so they can express it on paper.
Yeah, and that's great for adults too. I mean, I love an
Hmm.
adult coloring book, I will say,
Right.
and you've extended that even, just into the world of pop culture and entertainment, and you've done these incredible activations over your 5 years of existence. I couldn't believe Kindness is Free is only 5 years old because of all the stuff you've already achieved, and I'm sure in another 5 years it'll be even more awe-inspiring, though I'm not sure how you could top yourselves. But from free backpack giveaways to kindness pop-up events to a carnival that Lori and I were dreaming back about before we started recording here, what are some of the tangible ways you think that folks at home can get involved, or all over the country can sort of extend these beautiful activities that y'all are hosting?
For me, I think when you ask that question, to really get started, it's kind of that behavior, kindness. Like, how do you measure it? How do you? And we toyed with that often. We recognize that the taking the pledge really makes a difference. And at every activation, at every event we do, we try to encourage people to make that connection. And I think the pledge has really resonated a lot with the businesses and with the adults, because when we came up with kindness is free, kind of this logo of the importance of kindness, like, adults get it right away. And so going back by taking the pledge and being reminded that kindness really does start with respect. And of course, it continues with compassion and having a compassionate attitude, and it always ends with the act of kindness. And so, when you think about it, those are the pillars of taking the pledge. And so, Laura and I both, living in Los Angeles, we've had to retake the pledge because
Mm.
you find yourself in a place where you're on the freeway and you're getting cut off and you're at the market and someone is not kind to you, and you just have to be reminded, I might need to repledge. But it's a simple way to shift the behavior. And so once you understand that, then you go into the next level of where we're teaching it through the act of the heart framework of
Mm.
kindness. We so much appreciate teaching adults the work of kindness now. The kids enjoy it. And I think when you ask the question about the arts, we're all looked through a microscope now, through the lens of a camera. You're being
Mm.
videotaped, and so these acts are being recorded and memorialized. And so I think people are rethinking the fact that their behavior is being watched differently than maybe in the past. So I think you can see it through the work of what Lori was explaining for us at the club through art, the way kids are writing things and describing things and performing. Even we have music through the club, and the way you hear the performance, there's much more positive energy, particularly in the work of teaching this work of kindness in the club.
Yeah. I really love all of that. And I think you brought up an interesting positive side to today's world and technology, which is that maybe we're all acting a little kinder because we think we're being filmed, but at least we
Mhm.
are acting a little kinder. Another really interesting point I had here is the parents. And so I wonder, for all the people out there listening who maybe are parents, we could distill it down to one tip, or is there something in regards to kindness you would like them to take away and do as they move through the world, not just with their own kids, but interacting with everybody out there?
Well, I think, setting an example, obviously, for your kids is very important, and they're watching us more than we realize. My kids watched me way more than I realized at that young age when I had them. I think the other piece to this is that when people are kind, when you say hello to somebody that you're passing, it makes their day, but it also makes yours. You don't realize the
Yeah.
feeling it's going to give you when you do that. When I smile at people, I feel good about that. If they're getting the smile from me, but I'm feeling it too. So it's kind of a win-win.
Mm.
And just people to be maybe not buried in their phones and just be mindful of people around them and get back to a little bit more of that, I think would be my advice and tip.
I think that's beautiful. What about you, JR? Do you have anything you want to add in there?
When you were talking a few moments ago about doing the research on it, kindness is free has taken on that effort as well, in the
Mm.
sense of UCLA and having the Badari Institute. Look at the over the course of 5 years of how this has shifted, as it relates to our kids academically through all the enrichment that they do, their behavior, and to see what level of impact of introducing kindness regularly through an adult to the professionals that work here every day, how it shifted. And I would just have to say that parents have got to just have a huge heart, and we found that through this process, the understanding with your kids, they are going through some challenging times. 1 in 4 kids in a public school are being bullied, and
Mm.
that it hurts my heart. But as a parent, you just have the heart and understand. Have to you have to have empathy and appreciation, respect and trust, and these pieces of the heart framework that we talk about through the curriculum. The ability to have conversation. Kids aren't born bad. They aren't born unhappy. They're not born mean. They're just exactly what Lori said. The kids are really more than ever watching the parents' behavior and
Mhm.
watch how they post things on social media, watching their language. And so we see it in the work we do. And we recognize with our heart framework, we are there to help them shift that thought process.
Mm.
um, and so, yeah, Parents have got a tough job, but as long as they have the heart, that they'll be fine.
I think the other piece of that is that I felt that if we could get to the kids, and let's say their parents aren't consistently kind, the kids might rub off on their parents,
Hmm.
whether they're arguing in front of them or whatever, they might bring it home. And so whether it's the parents setting an example, if they're not able to do that and don't, think that they are an example, then at least the kids can plant a seed in their parents about
Hmm.
kindness.
Yes. It literally is contagious. It's not
Yeah.
just to be written on a home goods pillow, although I'll probably buy it. But there is research that shows, like you were touching on before, smiling at someone, complimenting someone, these things really have an impact and it's powerful. And it's interesting, JR, you're hitting on something that is even more relevant right now. I mean, the top movie out is Wicked, right? And what's at the core of that? Are we born wicked or do we have wickedness thrust upon us? And how can that sort of change? And I wonder, also harking back to a point you made earlier, I can relate to this as someone who makes their mission and sort of their religion, quote unquote, kindness, and you're going out there and inspiring this change. You mentioned how you both have retaken the pledge several times and you have to check in with that center, which I think is so beautiful and cool and wonderful that you would say that. And I thank you for saying that because it is a work in progress always. What's your advice on people sort of being their own meters for kindness in their daily life? Because just because we dedicate our mission to this doesn't mean we don't have those moments where we're, reading copy late at night and then we're getting frustrated for whatever reason and we're thinking, wait, wait, this copy's saying this. I should really be thinking about this myself. You know what I'm saying? So what's your thought on that?
Well, we have these bracelets. I always laugh with JR because I am the one probably between the two of us that has to check in with myself more often than not. Because I do get a little triggered of the drivers or something. And so we have these beaded bracelets that we wear that say, be kind. And,
Yes.
I just sometimes look down and think, self-check, like, how's my day gone so far? Have I been kind? I think people can put sticky notes around their house. They could put a little sticky note in their car. There's a lot of ways you can do that to kind of self-check because we do have patterns and we do forget. And it doesn't mean that people are mean or we've got a lot going on in our lives and we get a little distracted with those outside things. So
Yeah.
that would be my suggestion, a
That's a beautiful
bracelet of some
reminder.
sort or sticky note.
Yeah, sticking those around, I think is beautiful. I have mine actually right by my bed because sometimes when
Hmm.
my head hits the pillow, I'm not as kind at remembering the day and sort of what I did. I'll think on the one thing that maybe wasn't the best instead of all the beautiful things. So that helps recenter
Hmm.
me looking at your beautiful bracelet next to my bed. And I think it's another tangible way to do that. And again, kindness is often seen as soft, which of course it can be, but I think your work is literally the opposite. It's soft, but it's also building stronger communities and safer communities and a kinder world, which is hard. So how do you sort of frame kindness as a serious leveler for social change as the two pioneers behind this foundation, especially to audiences who might say, oh, that's nice, or not see it in the way that we see it with this transformative power. I'm not sure you've come up against that at all, but
Kindness is such a powerful word. Like you had just
hmm
mentioned, you see people when Target runs and I'm not promoting Target here, but when Target runs a T-shirt or something at the store, and
I wore a red shirt and khakis to Target once, and so many people were like, "Where's the candy?" And I did know where the candy was, obviously, because I was like, "Oh, it's aisle 3."
Instant
But
employee.
yeah,
for me, a lot of it comes to like, and I was just thinking when you had just said, like you're up at late at night and you're reading copy or you're doing something for work. How do you just keep honing back in on this kindness? I think when people see the word kindness, they all get it. It's kind of a self check. You see a pillow at Home Goods, it says kindness is on kindness for the day, or it just feels
Mm,
good. So you're attracted to buy it. For me, I think when I talk to people, and the easiest reminder is anything around appreciation. It's like the word appreciation and appreciating, the fact that I get to go to work versus I got to go to work, the fact that I get to be able to do what I'm doing, the fact that I've got a friend like Lori. I appreciate our time together. It's kind of the shift that if you're appreciating what you have, which could be your friends at the club for another kid, I appreciate. There's just this automatic trigger, this internal factor of kindness that just comes from it. Like giving a
Mm,
free compliment, giving a, acknowledgement. I hear people often say they're grateful for something, but they might not be appreciative. And I feel that
mm,
when you appreciate the fact that you've got another day in front of you and you've got the ability to go to work, the fact that you have food
yeah.
in your tummy, the fact that your parents are acknowledging you, it's this level of appreciation. It just aligns with kindness. And that's why retaking the pledge, like I get to take the pledge, I don't have to take the pledge. We've studied a lot about the behavior because we've seen kids as well as we've seen adults really shift their way they behave, the way they enter a room by acknowledging another person. Everything that we just talked about, like stepping aside at the Starbucks to let someone in front of you offer to buy someone a drink because you can just tell they're having a rough day.
Mm.
It's appreciating these small acts, which is a part of the kindness is free curriculum.
It's so beautiful, and it's vulnerable, right? I think it's also teaching
Hmm.
adults more so than kids, because kids wear their hearts on their sleeves,
For
and so like
sure.
you said earlier, they're very attracted to this, but the adults, we can harden and we forget that just smiling at someone is such a beautiful act of kindness, but it takes
And
vulnerability.
you just said a smile and it's free. It's just free. That smile is a gift.
It is a gift, and all of these free things, I was thinking about your mission in regards to even just the word free. All of these free things that really cost us nothing, except maybe like a little muscle or something to smile on our face, they actually give back. It's like spending no money on something and then having it have a yield at the end of the
Hmm.
year and you actually get money back from it, which is kind of the wild part. It's not why we do it, but it does give back to you, that feeling. Just to dive a little deeper there into what you were just talking about, I would love if either of you could share a story of the impact you feel like your work has had on someone that deeply moved you.
So yesterday I did something that I haven't done in a long time, and it reminded me that I need to do it more often. I was at the grocery store, and there was a postal worker behind me with a basket of some things. And I know he was probably on his lunch break or something. And I said to him, I'd like to pay for your groceries.
Hmm.
And the look on his face kind of looked at me like, well, we don't know each other, kind of, it really, really reminded me that it's so rare to like buy somebody a coffee, or it could be simple. It doesn't have to be expensive. But he just stood there and stared at me in complete, like, I cannot believe that this stranger is doing this for me. And I didn't do it because we had this today. I just appreciate postal workers and the work they put in. They work 7 days a week. And I thought this could be something that just might make his day. And he asked me for my name. He told me his name. And it was this wonderful exchange, and it wasn't expensive. I know he left thinking about what he can do maybe at his, whether it be a coffee, whether it be holding a door open for someone. I
Hmm.
want people to, when they see me smile at them, think to themselves, do I do that when I pass other people? I'm hoping it's going to be contagious in a way. And
Hmm.
so just yesterday, I had this experience of this man that when I walked away, I could see him staring. He just could not believe that somebody would do that for him,
Hmm.
a complete
That's
stranger.
amazing.
So,
Yeah. It's beautiful because I think it changes the word stranger, right? Like we're kind of all here on this earth together to get really, I guess, fundamental and woo woo, but we all walk away not being strangers. I think kindness is the bridge to making us all a global community. And I love what you just shared. It reminds me of Carol Burnett was on here a while back, and I did black out because I was very excited. But she shared a story about going to the grocery store, and it was just this really intense, gruff person having a horrible day at the checkout line. And she was checking everybody out. And when Carol got up there, instead of falling into the
mhm,
unkindness, she said, "Oh, I love your necklace and it really brings out your eyes. Your
mhm,
eyes are so beautiful." And it changed the woman's whole
mhm,
demeanor and then how she acted to everybody else. And I think that's what you're touching on there, the power of how it really does allow you to then
mhm,
create that ripple effect. And it's so
mhm.
much bigger than just one person. So I think that's incredibly beautiful. And I wonder, JR, I'm not sure when I asked the question if anything popped into your head too. It could be something you've all done as an organization or that you've done recently, but I think it's inspiring to hear these things. And
No,
I know, Lori, I want to go do that now. Thank you for sharing that.
for me, I've been doing this, immediately went back to what I do for our Amazon delivery guys. So outside my front door, I have like a little table, and there's an orchid on the table right outside the door. And I leave water, and there's a little sticker that says kindness is free. And it says
Mm.
for the Amazon guy. So I leave sparkling water and I leave bottled water, and it's for the Amazon delivery guy. And
Oh.
you get so many different Amazon delivery people coming if you're ordering lots of Amazon. And so I get lots
Mm.
of these now. And all the time, the water is always taken. So last week, there was the basket with the water and the sparkling water. And when I went out there, the Amazon guy left $5 in the basket with a note
Oh,
Oh.
on sticker that says for the next guy. And
Oh.
I thought this is incredible, because
Yes.
that's what I'm trying to do. And so for me, that was just like the light up. It's like I couldn't believe it, but it actually works. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's the smile. That it was
I
incredible.
love
that's
that.
a great
That gave me
story.
goosebumps. Yeah,
Hmm.
it gave me goosebumps. I think it's almost like you could have these kits that everybody can do at home. I mean, we just built our own free little library, which I think is another great organization. And I don't know, I might leave some of these kindness is free pledge cards in there and stickers and adding more than just books because you want it to feel like a community coming together in the name of kindness. So I think that's super cool. And it reminds me too that you are both such a rare combination of visionary and operational. I think sometimes
Hmm.
people have big ideas, but they don't actually take action and aren't able to actually make it happen and execute it. There's also the research that shows leaders like you who use kindness actually achieve more and they're better in the long run. How do you both sort of walk that walk? I mean, you've shared some examples already, but how do you approach leadership with kindness?
JR, that would pertain probably more to you than me, but I guess we're going to go back to feeling like I'm watched a little bit, you know,
Mm,
especially with my peers because they know I'm in this program and they know I, collaborated with JR and to develop this. So I want to make sure that I'm leading in that way because sometimes I don't feel like I'm always kind. I'm
mm,
not mean. I just could do maybe a little bit more than I've done at times. And so, because, JR and I have led the way here, we really have to be on our game. And it's not easy all the time. Sometimes we're tired. Sometimes, uh, you know, you might have gotten a disturbing phone call from somebody or something. And so it's just something that you have to get in the habit of doing. And that's why I think having a sticky note on the mirror in the morning to kind of start your day kind of sets the tone of leading that, than just trying to remember. For those thinkers, which I'm one of them, I know JR is, and Robert, you said you are too. We've got too much going on up there to try to remember to always be kind. So if we can have little reminders around, I think that's a great way to lead.
yeah. I think that's brilliant. And I think it's so cool that you said that, the vulnerability there of, especially we're here, talking about kindness because that's true for everybody. I think not everybody would admit it, but none of us feel like we're as kind as we should be all the time. I mean, I talk about this all the time on my podcast, smiling, waving to people and strangers.
Mhm.
Do I always do it? No, because I get
Right.
nervous or I get inside myself or I'm having a bad day and I think, there's judgment that comes in there. So I think just that acknowledgement is incredible and I really appreciate it. And yeah, I wonder what comes up for you there, JR, as a leader.
I think the vulnerability of knowing that people are, you know, one, relying on you for like the answer of kindness, because that
Mm,
seems to be a big weight that you wear. But I can tell you the one thing is sometimes when you are a kind leader or you exude this high level of kindness, which Lori for sure is that, and that's exactly with her kids, is you get taken advantage of too. So
Mm-hmm.
your kindness could be seen as a weakness almost,
Mm-hmm.
this genuineness of kindness that just happens, and people could take advantage of that. So your awareness needs to be also honed in on your kindness. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's very important to know that, because I see myself as a very generous, kind human being, and I appreciate the fact that I get to do what I do and teach kindness and lead by kindness, and things are easier when you're kinder. There's no doubt about it. People will open the
Mm.
door for you and invite you and allow you to lead, if you will, and listen. But believe me, with that comes the responsibility of being taken advantage if you're not aware.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, I've had that a lot. Unfortunately, it was raised in a family where we trusted everybody, and I will always give anybody the shirt off my back. It will never be something I even have to think about. It's just kind of was in my family's DNA, but it's a different world today, and you have to really pay attention to who you're giving that to. And so I like
Mm.
that, what JR just said, because unfortunately it has happened to me a lot. And I think just be mindful of maybe the free things that you can give people with kindness, the smiles, the holding up, open the door,
Mm.
those things that don't cost anything. That seems to make a lot more sense than trying to do anything monetarily.
Yeah, and it takes
Although you
work.
can do that too. You just have to be
Mm.
careful.
Yeah, and even I think even those things in this climate, sometimes you have to be careful about, right? Like who you smile at on the street, who you make eye contact with. It can be such a crazy world that having this pledge and making it something we think about more altogether, I think is part of the answer, is just making it a part of you and your work in progress and being aware of when maybe you're not utilizing kindness. Although, Lori, I'm sure you are a very kind person most of the time and you're probably just not giving yourself enough credit. But it's that thought. It's like giving it the thought. I think thoughtfulness is something that's lost a lot
Hmm.
in today's world. It's just a joy to be thought of and to think of something. And we're always thinking.
I think, to going back to some of that deeper dive, is that's why it's kindness is free. Like when we started this in the
Hmm.
beginning, it wasn't about, for sure, it wasn't for Lori to go out and buy things for everybody. It was to go out and try to teach people that you can smile. And it really started
Hmm.
because in 2020, we were walking the neighborhood and there was such disruption and discourse that everything was beaten up and
Mm,
broken. We can fix everything. We're not going to replace everyone's damaged items, but we recognize early kindness is free. And if you just lift people up and give positive affirmations and share, that's kind of how it all started. And we still believe that, because I think for both of us, we're both very similar in so many ways that we have been taken advantage of, but we still continue to be kind people, but we're learning from
mm,
it. So we
Well, and
recognize.
I
Go ahead.
yeah.
well, I also see, I lived on a hill and I could see all the rioting and protesting. And can you imagine if all of those people were just kind to one another? It would be such a different feeling, because a lot of that
Mm,
felt like it was a lot of anger and the looting, and that wouldn't exist. If you were kind to the owner of that store, the looting wouldn't have happened. And I think that, again, the younger people need to be reminded of how it feels both to give it and to get it. And
mm.
if we can touch some of those lives, whether, you know, they want to buy into it or not, one would be better than none. And I
Yeah.
think we've always done that. We've always said if we could change one life, it's worth it. And
Mm,
so hopefully we're changing more than that. We did have a kid that was a bully, and his brother had gotten in the program and said, I don't want to do this anymore. I like what he's doing, and said,
mm,
I'm not going to bully anymore. So there is that chain reaction, the effect on people. I think sometimes their upbringing can play a role. They can get in the wrong group of friends, peer group
mm.
can maybe be the wrong group. Um, And so we're hoping to make some changes. You
Yeah.
know,
No, I'm really glad you're doing that. And I can actually say firsthand that the work you're doing is changing my life. And the fact that I get to be there with you all next week at your Kindness Hall of Fame induction, truly, I mean, I can't even believe it's really happening. It's the thing I'm looking forward to most in the year. And when I look at the start of the year, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. It's just been such a really dark year for my family. And so to get this letter from you all, I mean, it makes me emotional. I feel so honored that even a kindness ceremony like this exists. And it's so just know, like, I'm someone whose life it's impacted and changed. And I'm only just beginning to touch the surface of what you all are doing. So I can't wait to be there next week. And it makes me wonder in regards to these events, these partnerships, these collaborations. Can you share a little bit more about the thought process behind that, or even tease some of the things coming up? You know, we'll have been at Tournament House by the time this airs, but in the Kindness is Free future, what are you looking forward to?
I would love to see this touch as many people as we can get it to. I mean, honestly, I think that's our goal, even if we put a banner in a high school on the wall. You know, it's funny when kids pass something all day and see the same message over and over, it gets planted. They may not do anything the first day they see it or second day, but the third day they might think about it. And JR and the program's mission is just to get to as many people as we can because we've seen such a positive response that hopefully this will just continue to grow.
Did you have blue ribbon schools when you were growing up? Maybe it was just a
Mm-mm.
thing we had on the East Coast, but I would love to see a kindness is free school, you know, schools that are stamped with the kindness approval
Mhm.
down the line. I think that's an incredible mission. And touching on those partnerships, I just want to ask you about the Rose Bowl in the room. I mean, that's incredible, that partnership alone. And the fact that you all have a kindness float and a parade. I mean, it sounds like something out of a fairy tale. How did that come to be? Can you just share a little bit about that collaboration?
Yeah, that was just a byproduct of the good work that was being done in Los Angeles. And so the Tournament of Roses, when they saw, and obviously this has gotten a lot of traction and awareness, because one of the things we do have is a full-time chief kindness officer, and every
Mm.
corporate partner and folk, they love that title. They love the energy of just the chief kindness officer. And what do they
Mhm.
do? So the Tournament of Roses called us after we ran an era of project and activation here, and said it was very interesting to see the work that you're doing. I think we were just coming off a huge kindness carnival in Los Angeles with over 2,000 kids, and said, we want to have you have a float in the Tournament of Roses, which is one a huge honor considering it's a float on kindness.
Yeah,
And
legendary.
so we were shocked, but yet we were honored. And it was probably a very a big beginning for us in the sense that we're making impact at that level. And we realized, it was important for Lori and the team to develop the right float at the right time, because 45 million people on January 1st watch the Rose Parade every year, and they excited to do it. And yeah, this is our third year in the Tournament of Roses, so the visibility has been bigger than life for us.
It's phenomenal, and I think even as a symbol, right? I mean, a rose is so beautiful, like kindness, and when you carry kindness, sometimes you get pricked with a thorn, but you don't stop holding it, right? And I just think that's such a beautiful partnership and an incredible opportunity, and I can't wait to see this year's float. Oh my goodness, I'll be so excited, bursting at the seams. Speaking of, I'm very excited because before we go, we have a surprise game. It's called the Compliment Game, if you're down to play. And basically, I reached out to someone in both of your lives for a statement, a kind statement, or a compliment about you. I'm going to read it to you, and then you have to guess who said it. Are you down to
Okay.
play?
I'm down to play.
Okay, this is going to be a good time.
Everyone's beautiful in their own way. It's the compliment game on the AOK. It's the compliment game.
gotta re-record that one. Anyway, first up, we got Lori here, and these folks, so kind to submit them. Thank you. They didn't necessarily include a hint, but I think I can help you get there. You can ask me yes or no questions. I don't know anything. I probably can't help you, but I'll try. Okay, so are you ready? I'm going to read you yours.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Your courage, strength, and kindness inspire me. You face life's challenges with heart and always show me how to carry myself, choosing kindness always, even when it isn't returned.
Ooh,
Very beautiful statement.
that's a really nice statement.
It sure is.
It really is. And I actually, well, I'll tell you in a second.
Am I related?
I believe so.
It would be my daughter or my son, I would think.
Okay, let's see. Let's do a bit of a reveal.
Mom, your courage, strength, and kindness
Oh.
inspire me. You face life's challenges with heart and always show me how to carry myself, choosing kindness even when it isn't returned.
No.
Yay! Thank you, Scott, who I didn't realize
Thank
was
you,
your
Scott.
son. But
Yes.
made it extra special. That was
Yeah. You will meet him next week.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
He's your chief kindness strategist?
Yeah. He's my kind child, my softie.
Oh,
Yeah.
how is it to be able to work with him on this mission?
You know, it's been great. He's a perfect guy. Scott has a knack for kids. It's just something that he was born with. I feel like he is going to be one of those exceptional parents. He understands them. He relates to them. They relate to him. And so I think this position has been great for him because he's around them all day and he just has this gentle way about him.
That's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, you're lucky to have each other, and
I
I
am.
am lucky
Thank you
that
for
he
that.
submitted this.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you got it. And now, JR,
Yes.
we got one for you too.
Okay.
This is also a nice sentiment here, and I'll read it to you, and then you have to guess who said it. Shout out. Well, we can thank them after, but to your team, because I did nag your team and I was like, I need compliments. How we get compliments from them? So shout out to them for helping me to make this happen. JR, this is your statement. Your kindness and leadership inspire me every day. It's an honor to work alongside you and learn from you each day.
That's got to be Josue.
It is Josue. Whoa, you got it in the first try. That was so good. Okay, where's my soundboard? Because we need some clapping. Can I play that? Okay, sorry. That's fine. Nobody should give me a soundboard. It's not okay. Josue, thank you, Josue. That was another beautiful one. How is it to return the favor working alongside him? I've gotten to talk with him a bit, and he seems awesome.
That's probably one of all the things Lori and I have done together, which has been a lot. That has probably been one of the most right on the mark. We both agree we're very blessed to have him a part of this team. Both of us would agree to. So yeah, we're lucky.
He's been the one that has turned this around. I mean, it really wasn't going in a direction. It was just kind of a program. You know, I think Josue and then adding Scott to the team has taken it to a different level. Every time we have a meeting, it's amazing what they come up with. And things that I thought might fall flat have really actually been some of the better things. So yeah, JR has created this amazing team of these very creative minds.
Yeah.
Because it is a difficult topic and it's a difficult thing to come up with ideas.
Right, because
Yeah.
it's a virtue. It's sort of hard. It can be very
Correct.
hard.
Right.
Yeah, I think about this a lot. I'm in sync with that. And I do want to highlight what you just said is super cool. You think sometimes it'll fall flat on, their face, or the idea will fall flat on its face. And I think it's cool that you still allow it to happen. That's a kindness right there, is trusting your team.
The Hall of Fame was my biggest fear. That one I didn't quite understand, but I went along with it and I was a good sport. And it was probably one of the biggest things we have done as far as the people there and the response. And it was just special. And so, yeah, I hope you enjoy it next week.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. It's what I've been looking forward to all year. And I will say, I just want to play this for you before I forget.
JR, your kindness and leadership inspire me every day. It's an honor to work alongside you and learn from you each day.
I don't know why I just kissed the phone. That was weird.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, Jose. I just wanted you to
Yeah.
hear it from his voice. And I know
Thank
my listeners have loved hearing both of your voices in their ears. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Out of all the podcasts you could listen to, thanks for coming to our little kind corner of the world.
Yes.
And speaking of, I would love to end our time together by you both sharing a kindness tip. So one action, and we've shared the pledge, so I'm going to repeat that now, but one action that you would like everybody listening out there to do to try and make their world a little bit brighter today.
Smile at someone else.
And for me, it's going to be acknowledge someone else,
Mm-hmm.
compliment, whatever that means, acknowledge someone else.
Yeah, see someone. Get off your phone. Well, don't right now because you're listening to a podcast and it's probably on your phone, but eventually look up from it and acknowledge someone. And I think that's really beautiful. And I want to acknowledge again, the work you're both doing is so necessary right now. And all I can say is thank you both for being you and for being here. And I'm so glad to have gotten to spend this time together. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. I'm honored to be on your podcast.
Robert,
Thank
you
so
are
much.
you are such an inspiration. I'm actually very grateful to have had this time with you today. You've inspired me. You've made my day, honestly.
Yes, I know you have great energy.
Oh, you're both so sweet. I appreciate the both of you so much for saying that. And again, everybody go check out the work Kindness is Free is doing, and we will see you soon. And this podcast is free for you. So I don't know. Is that kindness? Maybe. Bye.
Until next time, remember, everything is going to be A-OK.